Hey guys, I'm really excited to show you this new product and do a product kind of walkthrough video. I'm going to do a hybrid as well, like I did for the Ultimate MainStage collection, the first one, and I'm going to partner it and show you a whole lot of new tricks and tips for MainStage. So even if you're not thinking of buying this product, just check it out because there's a whole lot of new ideas and thoughts behind effects and just getting the most out of MainStage. If you do want to buy it, I really appreciate it. Obviously, it helps me keep doing what I'm doing. It also helps support the young and free guys that I'm partnering with and getting their sounds into these MainStage templates, and it also helps support our church because a cut of all sales goes directly to Hillsong Church, so we all appreciate it when you do buy it. But anyway, let's get on to this product. So I was originally going to do like a double up product, so two products. I was going to do the Ultimate MainStage Collection 3, and I was going to do a complete MainStage effects template with channel strip effects. But I figured after putting the sounds together that most of these effects actually partner up with the sounds. So it's kind of a 2-for-1 deal that you get here. You get obviously your normal 30 patches, as well as, where is it here? 16 really unique channel strip effects. We've got delays, we've got sampled delays. I'll get onto that impulse response stuff. I've sampled different spring reverbs. I've created effects that will reverse your sound. But anyway, I'll get onto those. So really in-depth kind of effects that go with MainStage. And you can use those with this template or any other template that you might want to use them with. I've found that the easiest way to export patches is actually to open up the one that you want to copy them to, adjust the window sizes of this one and let's say the other one, or your MainStage template that you're currently using. And so you can have them side by side and you can make sure all the effects are the same, just visually easier that way. I always say this in my videos, is check out importing and exporting MainStage patches because a lot of these are sampled patches, and so you have to copy the samples into a specific folder so they'll show up in your other MainStage templates. And then obviously copying these channel strip effects is as simple as either copying and pasting from one to another or saving and they'll come up in user channel strips. Okay, I'll just do a quick overview of the patches here and then we'll get into some audio examples and then I'll show you kind of some little tricks behind this template as well. Okay, so we've got a bunch of new sounds, young and free ones. They're all, I changed the icons just for my benefit as well as yours so I can remember which ones were young and free and which ones weren't. So anything with this little X-stand keyboard icon is a young and free sound. So we've got the whirly from Face to Face. We've got a sound from Passion, I think the song is called. We've got Falling Into You, Juno. We've got When the Fight Calls. There's another patch from that album. Another patch from that song, sorry. We've got Face to Face lead and we've got Even When the Fight Calls glide leads. So those are the young and free sounds. And then I recently did a Spanish version of Even When It Hurts. So it was basically the same United version, but we put Spanish vocals to it. Although on the original, Ben Tenney did most of the keyboard sounds and parts. I did pianos on that album. And so I created my own versions of Even When It Hurts stuff for the Spanish album. So they're all here as well. You've got the synthetic Rhodes, which I used on that version of Even When It Hurts. We've got the Juno pad. Where's that one? I think it's this one. Yeah. We've got the Rhodes Hurts, obviously, by the name. We've got the Juno strings lead, which is down the bottom, and we've got analog feeling. So those were all sounds that I used on the Even When It Hurts Spanish version. So yeah, that's an overview of sounds. We've got the reverse piano from originally from Omnisphere, but I created a MainStage version for that. If you're wanting to get the original version, it's from, whereabouts is it? If you just go to Oceans on multi-tracks, you can actually go to the patches section and see what patches were used. That's the patch there that is for Omnisphere, but not everyone has Omnisphere, so I wanted to do a version that will work for MainStage only users. While I'm on that subject, this MainStage template only requires MainStage apart from one other plugin, but that other plugin is free, so I'll just show you where to get that. It's from this website here. You just go to products, just pause the video if you need to get the website address, and it's this Tell Chorus plugin here. You can just download that for free, and once it's installed, my patches will not show an error when you open up MainStage. So just make sure you get that, download it, install it for MainStage. Also, if you're opening up MainStage and it says additional content required, just download the additional content because I'm using some impulse responses that you might not have downloaded by default. Apart from that, just double click the icon and it'll just open up just like the other ones do. Okay, let's get on to some audio examples. So as you can see, the top lot are kind of Rhodes whirly pianos. So I'll quickly go through these. Here's like a really nice mellow Rhodes. So you can hear that kind of breaking up. It's got nice overdrive on that one. We've got the whirly face, which was on Face to Face, like I said before, the Youth Revival album from Young and Free. This has got a really interesting couple of channel strip effects. So I want to spend a bit of time showing you this and walking you through kind of my thoughts behind it. So I'll just play an audio example of me playing something and then get into depth onto what it can actually do. So really nice whirly sound with kind of a tape simulated overdrive delay effect that I've put on there. It incorporates two different delays, channel strip, EQ, distortion. It's quite complex, and then I've got it feeding back into a sample reverb. So I actually went and sampled a reverb that I really like, and then put some chorus mod effect before it, and so that's what's creating the sound. Now check out what happens when I increase the reverb. So what's happening is the sound's going from here through that kind of really gritty tape delay, and then it's feeding back into this reverb, but you can create some really cool effects by pushing the reverb up. Okay, there's another feature on top of that I'll show you. You can actually freeze the delay and create an infinite shimmer pad. So you can start with the reverb down and then push it up when you freeze it, and it creates this really wide infinite pad. So I'll just play something as if I'm coming towards the end of a song, hold the last chord, and then I'll kind of like freeze and hold it with the reverb, and you get this really cool shimmer effect. Now that will go indefinitely. You can keep playing to that. You can change sounds if you wanted to. I'll choose the fight combo. And then when you want it to stop, just unfreeze it. So that's a really cool kind of combination of effects that you can use, and you can copy that and put it on any patch you want. You can freeze a piano if you wanted to and create a shimmer pad from a piano. You can put it on a pad. It's really however you want to use it. The only thing that you have to watch is the tempos. So this tempo here, 94, that has to be the same as this one. So if I freeze it and change it to a tempo that's different to the original one, it'll act like a analog delay, and it'll actually speed up or slow down depending on if you change it to a faster or slower tempo. So that's just something to watch out with. It doesn't mean that you have to play in the same tempo or anything. It just means that the tempo difference will affect the delay. But yeah, that's just a little heads up on that thing. Actually, what I'll do is I'll talk through some of these features in here, and so you can kind of get a better idea of what this plugin's doing and how you can set it up for whatever you want to do. For the song Face to Face, it was actually a 16th dotted 16th delay. If you don't want dotted delays, you can just go in here and change it to whatever you want. There's actually two of them working in tandem to create that effect and create the delay. So this first section is obviously the tempo of your delay. I've tempo synced it so it'll match up to the tempo that you select for the patch. Now this clip threshold, so what happens with tape delays is if you push the input too hard, it'll actually start breaking up and distorting. And so that's what this is simulating. And the clip threshold is it's basically saying when is it going to distort at what dB or volume threshold. So the less the number, it's going to start distorting at a lower volume. The higher the number, it's not going to distort till you reach that dB level. So I wanted it really dirty, so that's why I put it at negative 11 dB. If you want a cleaner tape version, just obviously choose the clean. This is a low pass and a high pass filter on the delay. That's pretty self-explanatory. You've got your feedback, which is how many repeats you want it. So if I put that down to 0, just repeat once and stop. Now the modulation, this is just adding kind of chorus to your delay. It's a big part of the tape delay sound. So it's adding pitch variations and like a subtle chorus. So I've just left that by default how it is because I like that chorus effect. And this is a freeze button that I've actually mapped to this button. I've actually mapped both of them to this button so you can freeze them. Let me do it actually, so you can see them both going on and off, and then I've got that going through into my sample reverb. So that's a little trick on how I set it up. Cool, let's go on to Rhodes Forever. If you haven't already guessed, this is the Rhodes that are used for Forever Rain. Actually, it's a replica, a MainStage replica of it. The original used Native Instruments Scarby Mark 1, but this uses the MainStage one, but I've EQ'd it to sound really, really similar to the original. If you're after like the original patches, they're in a product, where is it? It's in one of these tabs here. I think it's this one. It's in this one, but it requires quite a few third-party plugins. The good thing about these Ultimate MainStage collections are that they don't require any other third-party plugins apart from that chorus. But if you're wanting to get more in depth and actually use some of the exact plugins, they'll be found in this template here. So yeah, with this one I simulated the delay. The delay that I used on the albums, it's actually really cool. It's a filtered delay that goes into like overdrive and a spring reverb. So the best way I found to simulate that in MainStage was to actually sample the reverb. You may not know, but you can actually sample reverbs. So as you can see, these little spikes here, I sampled the delay and I dragged the WAV file in and saved it in this template, and that'll copy across into whatever MainStage template you want to put them in as well. But I'll just show you an audio example. Yeah, so the delay is actually coming from a reverb. So that's what that is. And I'm actually thinking of doing a product that is solely impulse responses. So what I was thinking is sampling some of my hardware reverb units, some of my software reverb units, actually doing delays as well, and doing them in every single tempo from 60 beats per minute all the way to 120 beats per minute. So if you want me to do that, what would be really helpful would be to go to my where is it? It's in one of these tabs, too many tabs open here. Go to my Peter James Productions Facebook page, and when I post about this product, comment on it and say that, yeah, I'd love to have the impulse response product available, and I'll do that because it's going to take quite a long time. Obviously, if I'm going to sample my delay stuff and spring reverbs and everything, it's going to take a while, especially 60 to 120. What's that? 60 impulse responses for each delay. But that way you can get it at any tempo and just drag it in for whatever tempo song you're using. And it's going to be really authentic because it's a sample of the actual delay unit or reverb units that I'm using with those sounds. So comment on that. Let me know that it'll be a real help. If I get enough people, then I'll create the product. Yeah, let's move on. That's stuck to 83 beats per minute, obviously, because it's a sampled delay. But I did a version that's not restricted to 83 beats per minute, and you can change the tempo down here to whatever, and it will sync up with the delay. So that's this one. So it sounds really similar. I just simulate it with a MainStage delay, compression, overdrive, and that's actually the same spring reverb. So I did sample the spring reverb part of that delay and had it separate so you could use that separately. This one's Even When It Hurts Rhodes, really ambient, really washed out. Again, it's going through sampled reverbs that I sampled, and yeah, I'll just play it. So yeah, that's a really washed out, wet version. You've got your mellow Rhodes if you want a dry version. Then we've got synthetic Rhodes. I really like this. Like I said before, I use this as a lead patch for the same song. You can either use it as a lead patch, or you can use it playing more chords. And what I've done is I've designed two different versions of the delay. So the one that I've left by default is better for lead stuff because it distorts at a lower volume. But if I start playing chords with the same delay settings, it's going to get too overdriven. So if you want to play chords, simply turn on the other one and mute the other one. Pretty straightforward. And now you can play chords and it's not going to overdrive too much. So there's a couple of different delay versions for that patch. Okay, the next one's pretty cool. Well, I like it anyway. It's a reversed Rhodes. So yeah, I'll show you and then I'll explain kind of how I made the reversed Rhodes. Okay, so I'll show you the concept behind it and how you can replicate it. So it's obviously the Rhodes plugins with a little bit of EQ. Then part of the sound goes to my shimmer effect, which is a chorusy shimmer. And then the rest of the sound actually goes directly to this here. So it's impulse response reverb, but it's reversed. So what I did was I hit the reverse, no, it wasn't that button, sorry, it was this one. And you can reverse any reverb and have it going backwards. So that's what I did there. Then I set the length and decay time to 2 seconds or 2000 milliseconds, however you want to think about that. And so that'll work perfectly for, 120 beats per minute. Now here's a little trick. If you want it to finish exactly on time for a different tempo song, you need to do a calculation. You need to figure out beats per minute and convert it to seconds. And the easiest way to do that is to go online. And I think I've got this one in a tab as well. Yep. You can just do a Google search, but I found this one. There's a lot of websites like this that allow you to just quickly and easily take a beats per minute and convert it to milliseconds. So let's say it was 100 beats per minute instead of 120. Just type 100, calculate delay time, and it changes to 1200 milliseconds or 1.2 seconds. You could go faster if it was, 140. Calculate, it's going to give you the exact delay in milliseconds. So if we go back to here, all you would do is just change the decay time to match what you've calculated in that website there. So it's pretty straightforward. You can also change the reverb length if you want. I like to keep them both the same, but you can muck around with it. But basically, if your decay time is the same as your calculation, then it will be perfectly in time for whatever song you might be wanting to use it with. So yeah, you can use that reverse reverb at any tempo, basically, using that formula. So here's a reverse piano from Oceans. The original was an Omnisphere patch, but I've created a MainStage version of that. To play it as if it was being played on Oceans, you just play an arpeggio running down. So I'm going to play A minor arpeggio running down. It's going to give you that reverse effect. So that's the reverse piano. This is at the tempo that Oceans is when that part comes in. So it's the same concept as the reversed Rhodes, but I've put them on the actual channel strip. And you can just change that by that formula I showed you before if you want to do Oceans at a different tempo, or let's say you just want to use this piano for different songs, just change that to the tempo of the song like I showed you before, because you can play chords or you can do however you want. The original Omnisphere version was kind of stuck at one tempo from Omnisphere, but this one lets you play it at different tempos just by using that little formula trick I showed you. Cool. We've got Hollow Pad from Passion. So really nice ambient hollow type pad from Young and Free's song there. We've got a Warm Prophet detuned. One of my favorite warm pad sounds at the moment, and you're probably wondering what the detune thing is. So I got really inspired after listening to the OB6. It's, if you know analog keyboards, it's a partnership between the guy who made the Prophet, Dave Smith, and the guy who made the Oberheim keyboards, and they basically put their knowledge together and created a hybrid keyboard. And I love the detune features on that, and a lot of other analog keyboards have that detune feature. So I wanted to incorporate that analog detune feature in a bunch of these patches. So that's what I've done. I've actually mapped it to knobs here. There's two different types. I'll explain each one. The top one, what it's doing, I'll open the patches so you can see better, is actually pitch shifting one down and one up at the same time. Well, I pointed to the wrong ones, but you get the general idea. This is going up 15 cents while this one's going down 15 cents. And they're mapped so one's going up and one's going down. And what you can do, not many people know this, but you can create additional mappings for any slider or knob or anything. So one slider doesn't mean it can only be mapped to one parameter. It can actually be mapped to multiple parameters, which is what I've done here. So you can see it's mapped to one and the other. One's inverted, so when one goes up, the other one goes down. And if you want to add more parameters, you just hit this little plus button and it allows you to map multiple parameters to one knob or slider or basically anything in this template. So that's the thought behind the first one. Now the Lfo Detune is kind of what it says. It's using Lfo to detune it. So when I move this up and down, you'll see these little triangles moving up and down. Again, one's going up and one's going down at the same time. And what it's doing is it's mapping the pitch to an LFO, like a sine wave LFO, really slow LFO. And so one's kind of pitching down as the other one pitches up, and then it kind of comes back and crosses over. The reason why I did an LFO version, I actually like the sound maybe a little bit better than just the straight left side pitched down, right side pitched up type of detuning concept. The other reason is if you're using this in a church or somewhere with a PA that has stuff panned left and right, if you're only hearing the left speaker and you use the detune version here, everyone on that side is going to hear it at, let's say it's 15 cents pitched down on one side and 15 cents pitched up on the other side. But the great thing about the LFO is they're constantly changing, so you don't get this constant detune on one side and constant kind of up-tuned thing on the other side. So that was the reasoning behind that. But I've given you both options, and you can actually mix them together if you want. It sounds great on headphones either way. But for live, I would definitely use the Lfo Detune. So I'm just going to play a chord and move the Lfo Detune and show you kind of what it's doing to the sound. I'll do the same with the top detune version. So what it does is it actually adds a chorus effect and it widens the sound and makes it sound kind of big and full. If you push it too far, it can sound a little bit pitchy, but I've left it default to 6 for all these detune patches. And most of them I've given you a detune version, and some of them I've given you a non-detune version because you may not want that feature, or you may just want a CPU, more friendly CPU version. So I've done that. This one's really cool. This is one of my favorites. It's a combination using this Warm Prophet and another patch. So I'll show you that one. Again, like most of my products, I've mapped the low pass filter to the mod wheel, so you can make it a little brighter or more mellow depending on how you want it. And you can always just disengage that by either disengaging the low pass filter here or by unassigning it or assigning it to a different control. But yeah, I like to have the option to low pass filter my pads and leads and stuff, so that's why I've done that. We've got the falling Juno. Let's play this one. Really nice kind of chorusy Juno sound, and this is one of the patches that I'm using this chorus plugin on because I love that chorus. It just, obviously it's replicating the chorus of a Juno, so it's going to make it sound really authentic using that plugin. There's a Juno pad that I use for Even When It Hurts sidechain version. And then there's a version that's detuned without the sidechain. Then we've got some Juno combos. I'll just play one of those. They're all slightly different. One's more reverby, one's a little bit brighter. They use different patches, but yeah, basically a Juno combination. And with that Lfo Detune knob, you've got real-time control over how much kind of chorus pitchy detune you want. You can bring it in and out or move it around to give an effect. The fight combo, this is probably my favorite combination patch. If you look at here, it's quite intense. I got the patches off Jake from Young and Free, who played on the album and played the sound. So I use the same compressor effects, everything in here, so it's quite a massive patch, but it sounds amazing. I can't remember what the actual line is from the Young and Free song, but I'll just play some chords. I forgot to mention, like my other Ultimate MainStage collection, you've got real-time control over shimmer or reverbs just by moving that up and down, but I've showed that a million times in other videos, so I'll just skip that. Now this is crazy, so I've taken that 4-channel strip patch and I've created a detuned version, so it's using 8 patches, all pan left and right. I've even set different LFO times for these individual patches, so they're all independent LFOs pitching the sound and creating this crazy chorus effect. So yeah, I'll show you that. I get a little bit carried away with playing that one for too long, but yeah, probably my favorite patch in this collection with the detune function. But there's also a non-detuned version if you don't want this crazy 8-patch version of it. Now we move on to what I call puff pads. Probably not a very technical or correct name for them, but they're kind of filtered attack pads, I guess. We've got analog feeling, which I use for even when it hurts. I'll quickly play this one. We've got the same thing but a detuned version, and then we've got analog puff. I love this patch, it's really warm and analogy, but you'll hear it when I play it. Yeah, I love this patch, sounds really fat and analogy. I've set this one up a little bit different to the other patches. If you go in here and go to edit, you'll see that all the samples have one shot on them. If I select all by Command A, turn one shot off, that means the sample will stop when I release my keys. At the moment, it just keeps playing all the way to the end, so you get the full swell, but I'll show you what happens if you turn one shot off. You can actually stop the sound earlier, but I think I like it better with the one shot on. So I'm going to close that and I'm going to hit don't save. There's a detune version of that. I'll show you that because I love the detune versions. Now we'll go down to Juno string lead. Again, this one was used on Even When It Hurts. And then we've got a detune version of it down here. It's a really nice detune Juno string lead. Then we've got face lead. I've done something a little bit different with this patch because on face to face, a lot of the time the patch is an octave patch. But if you're lazy and you just want to play one note, but you want it to be an octave patch, you can do what I've done here. And what I've done is I've turned on octave for both of these patches. So you play one note. And you get an octave sound. That's for all us lazy musicians out there. It becomes really practical. For example, if you're using a piano sound and down the bottom you want it just to be a normal piano patch, you can make it so that upper octaves are doing two notes when you play one and giving you that octave effect for those lead lines. So there's a lot of uses you can use that for. You can even put on a pad. So I could pick one of these pads. Maybe not one with too many. Let's just go fight combo. And now let's just add it in there. And every note you play will be doubled, so you actually get a way bigger sound. So let's go chord trigger. Let's go, I think it's intervals. Yep, here we go. And now I'm just going to copy it across by holding Alt. It's a little trick for copying patches and presets and stuff. And now there's an octave on everything. So I'll play basic chords and it's going to double everything. So yeah, that's a little trick for even making your pads sound bigger. You don't have to play as many notes and they're going to sound fuller and bigger, obviously, because you're getting twice as many notes. Okay, we'll move down to the last one, Fight Glide, and this was obviously used on the Young and Free song, Even When the Fight Calls. So really cool portamento glide sound there. Then I've got it going through my sample reverb here as well, just to give you a really nice shimmer reverb chorus effect. Yeah, so that's basically the walkthrough video. Like I said, it comes with 16 channel strip effects that you can use with this library or any other library that you want to use it with, your own sounds. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching.